Madeline Soto, Stephen Stearns. A lot of rumors saying that Jen actually knew about this. A lot of speculation, allegedly. Jen, many theories going around on the internet, she knew about this, chose to ignore it, left out details to the police, contradict her statements. That's a fact. All these things that we do know because we saw it, especially through documents that I presented to you in prior podcasts. Jen is in the clear for now. But for how long? Probably not for long. You see, the cops are not interested in Jen because they got Stephen, because he attempted, he unalived Maddie. But Jen, probably she didn't. The people on the internet believe it. But her being abused. Now, Jen, is this something that you can't run away? You see, Jen, this is your daughter, your only child, in which for years you chose to not know or chose to ignore. Today, I got some information, some audio from the day of when Stephen Stearns messed up. You heard me correct? When he contradicted himself. Basically, he messed up. And the police were like, yeah, but you got your times wrong. Get ready for this podcast. My name is Nove. Welcome to University. This is a true crime podcast, streaming both live on Facebook and YouTube. So do me a favor. Before we begin, hit the like button, hit the share button. But most importantly, if you're new, hit the follow or subscribe button over at YouTube. Thank you for dedicating your Friday, your night to me. So good to see you guys. Shall we begin? Oh, before we begin, FYI, big announcement at the end of the podcast, so you do not want to miss this. I hope you're ready for the Novacity merch. You heard me. First come, first serve. We'll be sold out instantly. I do promise you. Get ready for that. All right. So, let's watch a little bit of this video and get into the secret letter written for Maddie. Because I got that also.
Welcome to Vinnie Politan Investigates. I'm Judge Ashley Wilcott, filling in for Vinnie Politan. Tonight, our investigation centers on the tragic life and death of Madeline Soto, abused for years. The abuse came to a tragic ending when she was murdered, allegedly at the hands of that same abuser. This horrific death coming just one day after her 13th birthday. This is her story. Madeline Soto was all dressed up and smiling as she posed for a picture at her 13th birthday party. It was a fun day surrounded by relatives and loved ones celebrating the start of her teenage years. But what Madeline didn't know was that it would be the last day on Earth alive. After the party, Madeline was dropped off by a relative at her house. Her mom, Jen, wasn't there because she was working. In fact, her mom had missed the party. So instead, her mom's on-again, off-again live-in boyfriend came over to watch Madeline and make sure she got ready for bed, because the next day was Monday, a school day. Jen got home around 10 p.m. and everyone went to bed around 11 p.m. The next day, Stephen was supposed to drive Madeline to school. He said he dropped her off, but Madeline never made it. Later that night, Madeline was reported missing. As police began their investigation, they said they found hundreds of inappropriate images of Madeline on Stephen's phones, including abuse being performed by Stephen. He was arrested, and then, a couple of days later, Madeline's body was found 20 miles away. Stephen was then charged with murder, and he now faces the death penalty. It wasn't until March 1st, 2024, 5 days after her disappearance, that Madeline's body was finally discovered. So how did her remains end up more than 20 miles from her home? And what did the area look like? Court TV producer Cody Thomas traveled to the scene and gave us a look around.
Now, we are here on Hickory Road in St. Cloud where Madeline Soto's body was found. And if you take a glance behind me, you see there's not really much to this road. I mean, there's a little flat land on the left, a little brush on the right. It seems like you'd be able to see something from your car as you pass down this road, but it's not a busy road. There's only been 15, maybe 20 cars that have passed by since we've been here for the past half hour or so. And also, there's no security cameras on any of these light posts. But as we continue this way, we are reminded that this actually is where Madeline Soto's body was found, by this memorial set up by community advocates, family members, maybe even some friends. Because right back there in that span of trees is where her body was found by police.
On February 26th of 2024, Madeline Soto was supposed to be dropped off at school just like any other day. Instead, she disappeared for 5 days until her body was found, discovered next to that rural road in St. Cloud, Florida. This leads me to my first question of the night. What happened to Madeline Soto? To help us answer that question, let's bring in our special guest joining us tonight, Court TV producer Cody Thomas, and also with us, the creator behind the Grizzly True Crime YouTube channel. She knows this case like the back of her hand, Gisela K. All right, Cody, we now have a little more information that can help us answer this question, right?
That's correct, Ashley. There's a new collection of case documents that have recently been released, giving further insight on how exactly Madeline Soto lost her life. Now, a portion of those documents from the perspective of an investigator on the case mention details from Madeline's autopsy done by the medical examiner. It says in part, during the autopsy, Dr. Giles expressed concern over the hyoid bone in Madeline's neck. Dr. Giles stated the right portion of the bone was not intact, which could possibly be related to her being strangled. Dr. Giles listed the initial outcome of the autopsy as pending. On March 29, 2024, I received the case synopsis from the medical examiner's office. Dr. Giles ruled the cause of death was strangulation and the manner of death as homicide. So
now, I'm showing you this because I want to show you something, actually. This, I really do believe Stephen did this 100% out of his desire, if you know what I'm talking about. Cole, thank you for the $1.99. She says, time to get involved. Buckle up, says Cole. Thank you, Cole. I appreciate that. Now, I have a diagram for you. Now, the hyoid bone, it's hard for me to say this word, hyoid, I hope I said that right, is located right here. Right here. She is a small human, right? Stephen is much bigger than her. His hand compared to the neck, much bigger. To do this at her being 13 instead of 7, you would need to be applied more pressure, obviously. But it was not, it was broke. It was broke. With the marks on his hands, plus the bone, sounds like he was trying to silence her. That's what it sounds like. Choking over here will give you grunts and moans. Up here will completely silence you. Wounds on the hands could indicate her trying to fight him off. Just trying to fight him off. He has so many marks on his hands. We've seen about 3 or 4 marks from the pictures that were now. I'll show you those pictures. Plus the bone being dislodged. Stephen Stearns wanted to get what he wanted. And it sounds like Maddie tried her best, ladies and gentlemen, to fight. This poor little girl, still today, deserves proper justice.
Ashley, based on what we've learned from this portion of those case documents, it's easy to note that the final moments of Madeline's life were nothing less than horrendous.
Oh, Cody, you are not kidding. And seeing that walkthrough and the scene where the body was found, where that memorial was set up. Gisela, thank you so much for being with us. Tell me your initial thought and knowledge of this case, learning that strangulation is what killed Madeline Soto.
I was a little bit surprised at first based on how many medications Jen Soto and Stefan Stones, talk about. So I thought, especially with Stefan Stones saying that he gave Madeline an extra dose of medication that night. And what he was Googling 2 weeks before, which was a very powerful anesthetic, I thought it could be something like an overdose. So to actually see that come out, that it was really homicide by strangulation, was more devastating than this case could have.
To be honest, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, because if you are trying to elude and lie on the police report, which is perjury, which is a false police report, you have nothing to hide. Am I correct? Drugs were involved. If it were, you would be like, hey, this was an accident. I don't know how you're surprised. I'm not surprised. No, I'm not surprised. If I can see him and hear him and how he contradicts himself, Jen also does that, which is what Stefan and Jen have in common. Think about that for a second. He tried to elude. He contradicts himself. Oh, I forgot the fob, the key. I had to get my clicker. What? Oh, my phone, it reset. What? Oh, no, the times I got it mixed up. What? I'm not surprised. No, he's a liar. He's a liar. And we knew from the beginning, something isn't right.
It's already so sad, but that's truly terrible. And they believe she died in the home.
They believe she died in the home, but there's also information that came out that she was seen in his vehicle, and that she was likely deceased at the time she was seen in his vehicle. And so, it begs the question, it's not just the horrible cause of death, but it's also learning that next steps were taken allegedly by him with her in the car deceased driving around.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And driving around for many hours, because he drove around for about 2 hours with her body strapped into the front, in the passenger seat. And then he put her body in the trunk and went home. And it was in the trunk for about 3 hours more before he finally took her to the deposition site and just left a 13-year-old girl like that between bamboo bushes. It's terrible.
Discarded like trash. So depraved. Cody, as far as Madeline's body and where it was found, do the documents go any further into those specific details?
Well, Ashley, that's another key part of these new documents, because it serves as a great indicator as to how Madeline's body ended up where it was found. It also discusses the state of her body, saying in part, Madeline showed signs of decomposition to one side of her face and her hands. The bottom of Madeline's socks were clean, which indicates...
Did you hear that? Listen to that part again.
Is the state of her body, saying in part, Madeline showed signs of decomposition to one side of her face and her hands. The bottom of Madeline's socks were clean, which indicates she did not walk anywhere or the socks would have had dirt on the bottom. Now, of course, this implies that Madeline had to have been carried to the remote location off the side of Hickory Tree Road. And as we know from previously released documents, Stearns was allegedly seen placing a lifeless body in the trunk of his car on surveillance the morning that Madeline went missing, which means he more than likely carried that body out of that car and into those trees where she ultimately was found.
I think ultimately it's a good thing that sometimes we hear that adage, criminals aren't always smart, because some of the things that they are saying they have as forensic evidence in this case, of course he's presumed innocent, but Gazella, these are things that make a difference when going to trial and trying to prove guilt.
Absolutely. And Stefan Stones was definitely not, based on what he's accused of, smart. I mean, everything that he did from, oh, I forgot the phone, and she also forgot her phone, but really he powered off Maddie's phone that morning. Things like that. And then actually driving around with her body and then coming back and saying, oh, I forgot my gate clicker. But then on the surveillance, you have your gate clicker. And then the rest of the day going back and forth to the dumpster and even going to that area just to think of what he did. And I really think he had never changed a tire in his life. So it took him so long, and he must have been quite panicked, to run across the road speculatively with the body. I mean, that is insane. He had probably 3 to 5 minutes, maybe, depending on which cars came past, he's definitely not a smart guy.
But it also means with the bottom of the socks clean that she wasn't dragged or accidentally dropped and then dragged on the feet. I mean, it means that
she wasn't able to walk herself. That's the most important thing. She wasn't able to walk herself. And guys, let's really look at things for what it was. Socks. Who the heck walks around with socks? You would have been found with sneakers, shoes, boots, flats, socks. Not that it's not only dirty, but it's just socks. It's just socks. That alone isn't dirty. It shows that this man, I mean, he eluded I must say, very luckily, because no one spotted him. Body from all the way upstairs. Everyone was asleep. Roommates, 2:30 heard something. Didn't wake up early. Body all the way to the car. Slumped sleep. Transferred to the trunk. Very strange. Not one person from the house all the way to where the body was found. But he was still very a clumsy, stupid criminal. He was. Firestorm with the 199 said she failed her 100%. Pure evil. Says Firestorm 85. Well said. Well said.
Absolutely. Those feet must not have touched the ground. Do you think this is an appropriate case, Gazella, for the death penalty?
Of course. What?
I can't think of a better one, honestly, because it's years and years of alleged abuse on this poor little girl. And then it seems to me that it could be a plausible motivation that he was just like a jealous boyfriend. That's how he was acting. Certainly wasn't a boyfriend, predator and groomer, but hearing about her crushes, talking about her crushes, that's the only time we really heard him emotional on any of the police interviews. And then going there and her freaking out saying, "Are you still coming tomorrow?" I mean, it just, to me, I don't know which other case would deserve it more based on everything we know about him. Of course, I would need a lot more time to say everything else, but I do think this is one to pursue that in.
Yeah, and I would agree with you if these allegations are proven to be true. A predator and a groomer. We do have to squeeze in a quick break, but don't go anywhere. Our guests will be sticking with us as we investigate our next question. Was Stefan Stearns showing red flags?
Come on, we know the answer to this already. We know the answer to this already. All right. Nagla 3, you guys are on the roll with these super chats today. Appreciate that so much. Appreciate that so much. All right. Nagla, she says with the 5 super chat, he gave her the substance that didn't knock her out good enough, so he had to crush her, to get what he wanted, and went out too far. Absolutely. That's a very good theory. Very good. Very good. Very good. Sound like always needed to give her something. And she seems not like a gullible. She's naive. Maddie seems naive. She just doesn't. She's young. Induced her with some substance or something. Girl was fighting back or she was coming out. Out of all the times, why would Stefan need to do this now? Ladies and gentlemen, why would Stefan all of a sudden need to do this now? Think about that for a second. Something happened. I'm going to say it again. Something happened. I'm going to say it again. Something happened in that room that he needed to do what he did. You see, so much for a very dumb criminal, might I say. He was willing to throw out his whole life for some reason, as if we care, right, chat? We don't care. But to do something so terrible for years to a little girl who didn't deserve this, who depended on her mother, he did this. She had no superhero. She had no one to save her life. Nobody. What was in her mind when her mother found out that he was coming to the house because the mother, from my knowledge, the mother is the one that wanted him to live there, that wanted him back oh so much. Please. Yes, please. I wanted him to live with us. I wanted to. I miss him. I love him. I miss him. What do you miss? What the hell do you miss from a guy that you didn't have intercourse with 6 months? Because you now, all of a sudden, I didn't like the things that he did. He made me want to do. I didn't like it. I didn't like this. I didn't like the things that he wanted. Ma'am, if you didn't like the things, I mean, we all know, and as a professional would say, especially in marriage, counsel would say, sex plays a big role in the relationship. I mean, if you didn't have it with him for 6 months and then he went to December, what was the true reason why he left the house? And he left. December was the last time he went to the house before she was unalived. He did make a couple of stops between December and the time she went missing. This guy wasn't a real dad. He wasn't a real dad. It wasn't even her real dad. She didn't have a choice. She lived with you, Jen. She lived with you. She can't just run away. Where's she gonna go? Who's gonna take her to school? Who's gonna feed her? She can't hold a job. She had to stay in that house and to listen to what the mom and he said. You know what this sounds like, ladies and gentlemen? Let me tell you what this sounds like. He entered her life when she was 7 or 8 years old, right? We saw the Reddit post years ago. This sounds like Stockholm Syndrome. That's what this sounds like. She would listen and obey. But then he started using sedatives, anesthetic. And it sounds like that night, ladies and gentlemen, it didn't work that much, did it? A week before, you want to Google what? Powerful anesthetics? Are you out of your mind? No wonder she was sick. No wonder she wasn't feeling well. When you have these young children, it causes depression. It causes them not to eat. They get sick. No nutrition. Malnutrition. That's why. It's sick. And she needed the one person in her life. The one. And you failed her. She was sick. Mentally, physically. Of course she's not going to eat. Of course, look at her body. She's skinny. She's depressed. Get out of my face. Do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Hit that follow button. If you are here involved, let's get to 200 likes. YouTube, you already know what to do. Facebook, you already know what to do. Hit that share button for me. Shout out to all my members in the chat wearing those beautiful crowns.
She brings a lot of joy. She's a very good girl. It definitely doesn't feel the same around here if she's not here. She was so happy, too. She was looking forward to my visit here. She was looking forward to us all being together.
You heard that. My visit. My visit. My visit. My visit. He wasn't staying there. Visit. The time that he wanted to visit her. After this birthday party, look what happens. Look what he did. Look what he did. He hasn't seen her in a while. He sees how beautiful she looks at her birthday. So he comes up with a little plan. A week before, you're not even there in the house, so you came up with a plan. You saw her at her birthday, looking so pretty. Maddie looks so beautiful at her birthday. She's so happy. And he was like, yep, I'll see you tonight. That was his plan. And you know what? Ironically, when you haven't seen her and you came to visit, the mother coincidentally sends her up to his room. Oh, Jen. Oh, Jen. Remember, guys, use censored words in the chat. Don't use direct words, as in bad terms. You know, try to gate your words using substituting it for coded words, if you can, please.
She was just happy. She was just very happy. I loved her like she was my own.
That was Stephen Stearns in a police interview after Madeline's disappearance, but prior to his arrest. Did his answers seem strange? Let's go back to another moment between Stearns and authorities before he was charged in this case. In this clip, Jen Soto is having her initial conversation with police the very day that Madeline disappeared. Stearns appears to keep interrupting while police are trying to ask Jen questions about Madeline. Take a look.
What's her name?
Madeline. Madeline.
Madeline. Last name?
Soto. S-O-T-O.
S-O-T-O?
Yeah.
Date of birth?
February 22nd, 2011.
How tall is she?
5'1".
Yeah. Weight?
110 pounds.
110, 112.
Hair color?
Blonde.
Blonde, like a dirty blonde.
Like a dirty blonde?
Yeah.
Okay. Eye color?
Blue.
Any other scars or anything like that? We should know.
Scars?
No.
Tattoos.
You'd be surprised.
Knowing what we know now as we look back at Stearns' behavior, it may be clear that something with him wasn't quite right. At the very least, he seemed to be acting suspicious, and knowing the allegations in this case certainly make it easier to see Stearns as an obvious suspect. So did anyone in the house have these suspicions? This brings me to my next question. Was Stephen Stearns showing red flags? Our guests are still here with us to help us answer that question. Court TV producer Cody Thomas and creator of the Grizzly True Crime YouTube channel, Gisela K. Gisela, I'm so sorry, Gisela. Cody, first walk us through some of what the documents say about Stephen's behavior.
Well, Ashley, Stearns' behavior was questionable, to say the least. The case documents pulled details from a police interview with a roommate by the name of Angelica, who lived in the home with Stearns, Jen Soto, and Madeline. She told police that on the morning Madeline went missing, Stearns was acting out of the ordinary. The documents say, in part, Angelica stated she saw Stephen in the residence at that time. Angelica said Stephen was acting odd and going upstairs and downstairs and in and out of the apartment that morning. Stephen was also washing clothes, which she has never seen him do. Now, these actions could be seen as the behavior of someone who is nervous. But remember, Ashley, police have Stearns on video that same morning at the dumpster in their townhome community, throwing things away before the time that he said he took Madeline to school, which we now know is not true. But some of those things were later revealed to be Madeline's backpack with her school-issued laptop.
Gisela, you hear this and it's like red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. And sure, it seems innocent. Oh, he's doing laundry. He usually doesn't. But I would argue when you take each of these things together, it certainly does seem suspicious and like he's the one that did something to Madeline Soto.
Absolutely. And he was trying to take control of the narrative, even in describing everything about her physical appearance, what she was wearing. And it's so strange to me how he brought up what she was wearing, you know, when he talks about the Crocs, right? But he left one of Maddie's Crocs in Jen's room and threw one away. And just everything about him he's a walking red flag. I mean, I could probably name 50 things that was so suspicious of him that day. One being, he came through supposedly for her birthday. That's what his parents said. But the next morning, he claims he's taking her for McDonald's, right, for a special meal. But then he says she didn't really want it, so he gave her a Danish pastry that he just packed. Like, who is going for a breakfast but also packing a snack at the same time? Like, that doesn't sound like him. He's not quite such a planner. I mean, there's so many things that his outfit changes, the different outfit the victim was found in, the washing that he was doing, the phone being powered off and powered on, and everything. He's the reddest flag.
And as Cody was talking about in that interview watching, I couldn't even put up with or stand the fact he kept interrupting Jen as she was trying to answer questions. All right, Cody, the new documents include more from the roommate. Is that right?
Yes, that is right, Ashley. And in the documents, it's revealed that this roommate, Angelica, heard concerning noises coming from the room where Stearns and Madeline were sleeping the night before she was reported missing. Within those documents, it also says in part, Angelica stated she went to sleep around 2:30, which is when she was hearing noises coming from Stefan's room. She described the noises as if someone was putting stuff on a table, which in order for her to hear noises, it would have to be significant based upon how the noise would have to travel through 2 closed doors and across a hallway. Now, of course, this information does not directly mean any sort of crime was occurring, but it does leave a little room to question why this roommate did not check on things when she heard those noises that she found to be suspicious.
Gisela, let me bring you back in on this because, yes, you do question why didn't she do something.
That guy right there, that's on the left, he is saying some good stuff. He's right. If you are, in my mind, right, and I'm going to say something on this. If you are going to say something worth mentioning in a statement, and you thought it was suspicious, and a loud noise like that, how come you didn't check it? Why didn't Jen hear it? Why didn't the other person hear it? That raises more suspicion. Not saying that they all have something involved, but it's the fact of the matter is, if to travel through all those 2 doors, and he's upstairs, and it was loud like that, and you want to put that in a statement, didn't that raise suspicion for you to go check it out? Right? It's like every scenario in this case was meant up to set up Maddie in a way where it just didn't work out for her. It completely failed her. Everything failed her. Her mom, the roommate says, hey, yo, that's weird. What the hell is that? No, I'm going to leave it alone. That, Stefan, I mean, Jesus Christ, the school said that the teacher said she was always sick. Do a welfare check. Investigate the parents. Wonder what's happening. Talk to Maddie. Give her free counseling. What is happening? Oh, I'm getting upset because I know this new information that we're hearing. Everything is up to failure. Everything fails this poor little girl. And it's infuriating. Nobody reached out. Nobody. Barb with the 2 super chats says she said that SA stuff wasn't evil, which means she knew. Barb, she did say that, and it's just sickening. Now, that doesn't quickly identify that she knew, but it does tell us, like, yo, why? It can be a small red flag as an indicator. You know, it's complex, but Barb, you're right. Her saying that it wasn't evil was ridiculous. It was this. That's nasty work. That is nasty work. Barb again with the super chat. She says he sounds just like Don Wells. Same words. I don't think I know who Don. Is that like another person from a different case? Barb, please tell me. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know. Thank you, Barb, so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Negla with the 2 super chats. She says, came for her birthday, but not go to the party. Listen, you think this guy cares? Let's talk about it, Negla. He only wants one thing. If Jen refuses to have intercourse with him, where's he going to get it next? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
Something, say something, go check. Now, hindsight being 20/20 for all of us, right? Maybe that's why. But again, it's another red flag that there's a child in the home, and you would think even roommates or other people in the home would say, let me go check to make sure everything's okay.
Absolutely. And the roommates had before seen Madeline in that bedroom number 4, the guest room, with Stefan. And they actually texted Jen Soto and said, are you okay with your daughter being up here alone with them? And Jen Soto's reply was, thank you. That's it. So maybe they just thought, oh, okay, like don't worry, the mom's checking on her or everything should be fine. But they may have gotten desensitized over time, which is, I guess, why this case spread so much awareness of those red flags to look out for. If you see something, say something. If you hear something, maybe go check it out. It could actually save a life.
And if you're a parent, you shouldn't be sending your child to sleep in another room or letting it happen, thinking that's okay with this man who's living in your home. All right, Cody, there was also information about what state of mind Stefan and Madeline's mother were in once they confirmed that Madeline was missing.
Yes, Ashley, and that's where Stern's behavior becomes increasingly strange. The documents talk about this friend of Madeline's mother named Natalie, who volunteered to help pass out missing flyers the day after Madeline disappeared. Now, the documents state in part, Natalie told Jennifer that she would help pass out flyers on February 27, 2024, or do whatever else that needed to be done to find Madeline. That's when Stefan looks at Natalie and asks her, "Are you okay?" Natalie became annoyed and told him no. Natalie was bothered with this question from Stefan and thought the question was odd. Natalie described Jennifer as being in pieces, meaning very upset about Madeline's disappearance, and Stefan was acting like he was not so concerned. So, strange behavior all around.
He was concerned. Why did he say that? And Stefan was acting like he was concerned.
Described Jennifer as being in pieces, meaning very upset about Madeline's disappearance, and Stefan was acting like he was not so concerned. So,
he was acting like he was okay.
Strange behavior all around, Ashley.
Okay.
One would think that you would be in turmoil, as Natalie said, if your child or loved one was missing, but the fact that he seemed normal and calm could be very telling when his trial date finally comes.
Oh, Cody, I agree with you completely. And to say, are you okay to somebody else when you're not even seemingly upset about Madeline being missing? And we know that he also lamented at one point about Jen wasn't really a relationship he was that concerned about, but it was a concern he had because he had established such a bond with Madeline. Gisela, weigh in on this one.
I mean, that is disturbing. He did say that. He also admitted to former girlfriends that he would sleep in the bed with Madeline and, sometimes get excited and all of that weird stuff, which caused that breakup. But it makes me speechless to think that he was actually allowed to do this for years, that he had such a strong bond with her. And Jen said, she used to love to watch them play and, paint figurines and all of that. And they were like hobby partners, but it's too much, like bedtime. It's too much. It should never have been allowed. And she just seemed to just be okay with it.
It should never have been allowed. And I think it's a lesson, Cody, I'd love for you to weigh in just about all people in general. And you think, oh, I can trust them, it's fine. It's your kid. You've got to be diligent to say, let's not take that chance and let's make sure we protect our child first.
That's exactly right, Ashley. Now, I don't have any kids of my own just yet, but anytime I see one of these cases, I always think about my little brother, and if he was in one of these situations, I would be shredded to pieces if he was missing or going.
Exactly. So give me your opinion in the chat because of how Jen was allowed to let this man, oh, it's nothing. But some of the roommates were concerned. They were like, wow, you let this man actually sleep with, what? You let him... of course, because it's odd behavior. Jen said it herself. Chat, remember what we heard? Do you remember, chat? Do you remember? Oh, I know. Some people might find it odd behavior. Yeah, it's because it's not, she said, and I quote, it's not natural. It's not normal. Why would you do it then, Jen? You had a king-size bed. Mama, I have a queen something, whatever. And I'm almost 6 feet. And that's good for me. I could fit 2 people in there with me in it. And you have a king. And you're 5'1" too? She's 5'1". It's past her bedtime. If you were able to give her something to put her to sleep, how would she bother you then? Get out of my face. There's no excuse. It's no excuse. It's sickening. I'm thinking of all the ways, right? In my mind. Okay. Jesus, I'm getting excited. Hold on. I'm thinking of all the ways in my mind. Okay. You're giving her something to put her to sleep. Anxiety, whatever. How can she be a bother? Why would you send her? Jen, and I'm not trying to come at you too much today, Jen, because in my mind, I can't legally say that you did something. I can't. And I can say, in the bottom of my heart, because I feel for this girl. I feel for her like if she's my little daughter. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? All I can say is, Jen, in my opinion, I believe that you knew something a little more that we cannot prove that you do know something. We can't, because we don't know dialogue in the house. We can't, there's nothing a camera or anybody could know. By you knowing something or you can think of, it will stay in your thoughts forever. We can't take it out your head. So by you thinking, oh, Stefan's doing something with my daughter, and I know about it, I don't care. Or oh, he's this, or he's into this, or maybe if he does something to her, that'll allow him to stay around with me. Whatever your thoughts, whatever you knew, we can't extract that out of you. But if you are able to send her to another man's room because you needed sleep, if you didn't do that night, she would have still been here with us today. It's just so frustrating because if any child that is so young that doesn't know anything needs help, they are naive. They don't know as much. They don't know what we know, ladies and gentlemen. They're a child. They are a child. You're looking at a picture of her when she's 12 years old. I want you to look at a picture of her when she was 8, 9 years old. Do you think that this for years, ladies and gentlemen, while she was in her little beautiful ballerina outfit, being a child, she just came to this world 8 years ago from this photo. And then a man could actually look at that and be like, okay, that's so, I can't fathom that. I can't, from the bottom of my heart. And it pisses me off because where I live at, we will never let this rock. This man will not, he will be gone. I have to be very clear and I have to condition my words softly. That's what I call it. I have to be careful. Like if I was the father, the biological dad of Maddie, and I'm not saying nothing bad to him, I wouldn't be able to function accordingly knowing that I have to be hesitant. He would need to be in my hands. I cannot let it stand. There's nothing in me. There's nothing in me. It's ridiculous, Jen. No matter if you knew this man 1, 2, 3 years, Jen, you cannot allow a non-biological man in the same bed as your daughter because what? You wanted to go get some sleep? At the end of the day, Jen, you know what's going to happen? Fine. Cops are not looking into you no more. Okay, whatever. You're not going to see jail time. Tao yang. Tato. But guess what? You're going to have to live the rest of your life knowing that I should have never sent my daughter to sleep. You're going to have to live with that for the rest of your life. You think that brings me joy? Jen, it doesn't because I wish that you didn't. Do I feel bad for you? For you? No. No. Do I feel bad for Stefan? No. Stefan's parents? Pah! I feel bad for Maddie. Because this could have been any one of your kids, ladies and gentlemen. It could have been. It could have been. Not saying that it is or will. It could have been. So that's why you're watching this podcast, because you feel my pain. You share it with me because you will not make a mistake as what she did. I know you guys, everybody in my chat, we talk all the time. My chat is very, very intelligent. I'm going to ask you, would you have sent your child to room number 4? It's disgusting. I'm pissed off, bro.
Going through something, let alone I don't know where he is, so I can't imagine just acting calm, acting normal, asking somebody else who's not even affected by this whole thing, are you okay, when they're just trying to help me? The whole thing doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. You're not going to say, hey, are you okay? Like everything is okay. There's so much here to unpack. I just want to say thank you. Can't thank you enough, Cody Thomas and Gisela, for being with us. Gisela, I did it to you again, and I'm so, so sorry. I know your name. I am Judge Ashley Wilcott. Thank you for tuning in to Vinnie Politan Investigates. We'll keep digging for answers as the investigation continues.
Sorry guys, I know do me a favor, hit the like button. We're gonna enter a different segment now. Hit the like button, hit the share button. I would appreciate that so much. Forgive me guys for looking down most of the times. I'm trying to get food and this is not working for me, so I didn't eat nothing today and I'm trying to get some food. Hit that like button for me, please. Hit that share button for me. If you're YouTube or on Facebook, hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate that so, so much, guys. I want to give a big shout out to my super chatters. You guys, thank you. That really means a lot. You guys are supporting me like crazy. And, you know, shout out to my direct donors and my super chatters. You guys you can allow me to keep doing this every day. I just want to help poor mothers. I want to help poor children, innocent victims, men, women, child. I want to spread positivity and conduct true crime as it should be. Okay? We're entering half the segment. Make sure. Oh, okay. Barb with the 10 super chat says, I never seen the clips of Don West admitting to playing house with his 5-year-old sister. Abuse. She started, and she's not innocent. Yo, wait, I think I know this. That sounds familiar. Yo, Barb, you know what? I'm gonna Google this right after. I'm gonna Google this case right after I'm done, Barb. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much, Barb. I appreciate you. Thank you. Let me get some W's in the chat for Barb. She sent like 3. She's insane.
Welcome back to Vinnie Politan Investigates. I'm Judge Ashley Wilcott, filling in for Vinnie Politan. Tonight, we continue investigating the grim reality of a young teen's life and death, Madeline Soto, who allegedly suffered several years of abuse until she was murdered in cold blood. 13-year-old Madeline Soto was celebrating her birthday with her family all day Sunday. Then Sunday night, she went to sleep at her home, not alone in her room, not with her mom Jen in the master bedroom, but with her mom's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns, in the guest room. The next day, Stephen says he dropped Madeline off at school, but she never showed up. Instead, now Stearns has been charged in 2 cases and is facing the death penalty. As a part of their investigation, police interviewed numerous people who were familiar with Stephen Stearns. One man in particular, referred to as Frank in court documents, had called police himself. He told them he had information about the case and wanted to speak with someone. Now, during that interview, an investigator asked Frank if he knew anything about Stearns' relationships. Let's take a look. I asked Frank if he had any conversations with Stephen about his sex life. Frank stated no, however, they would be out and an adult female would.
Okay. Is this the guy that called into my show? Wait, chat, is this the guy that called into my show?
Frank, if he knew anything himself, he told them he had. As a part of their investigation, police interviewed numerous people who were familiar with Stephen Stearns.
This is the guy that called into my show. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. If you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, a long time ago, when I covered this case, when it first appeared, there was a guy, you know, And he called into my show and said, dude, I'm friends with Stefan. And you know what? For a podcast, I think we should get that Frank interview that I did. How about that? How about that? How about that? You guys want to do that on the next podcast? Let's get that Frank interview.
Frank if he knew anything about Stern's relationships. Let's take a look. I asked Frank if he had any conversations with Stefan about his sex life. Frank stated no. However, they would be out and an adult female would be interested in Stefan, and Stefan showed zero interest. Frank said Stefan was talking about he and Jennifer ending their relationship, and Madeline's name came up during that conversation.
What did I tell you? That's exactly what he just told me on the phone call. Not just told me, but at the time, excuse me. He told me the same thing as what he's... That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
He was more upset about the bond he created with Madeline than having a relationship with Jennifer. Seemingly uninterested in adult women, but upset about possibly losing his bond with Madeline Soto, that brings me to an important question. What do you make of this? To answer that question, we're going to need some help from our experts. Joining us now, licensed mental health and nationally certified clinician and adolescent psychologist, Sharonda Brown. Also with us, forensic psychiatrist, trial expert witness, author and columnist, Dr. Carol Lieberman. Also a part of the investigations, authorities interviewed Stearns and Soto's roommate, Angelica, and according to court documents, she had asked Jen about her relationship with Stearns. Let's take a look at this as well so that we can talk about this. Angelica stated she had another conversation with Jennifer about her sexual interactions or lack thereof with Stefan. Angelica said they didn't have sexual relations often, and that is why she didn't want to be with him any longer. Police also asked Jen directly about her relationship.
Yo, what did I just... Yo.
Angelica said they didn't have sexual relations often, and that is why she didn't want to be with him any longer.
Jen, are you cuckoo, Jen? Did anybody catch that, or do I have to say it? Did anybody catch that? Can anybody say it in the chat, please? Nobody? Okay. Angelica said they didn't have intercourse relations often, and that is why she didn't want to be with him any longer. Jen, have you even questioned in your mind, why does he want to always come over and he doesn't want the goodies from you, and you ended it and he's fine with being ended it? Oh my God. It's like, what are we doing here? Are we not, are we okay? Are we okay here? In your mind, have you ever thought for a second, Jen, if he didn't want intercourse with you, Jen, he didn't want intercourse with her. She said, okay, so then we're going to break up. Okay. So it's done. I want him back in the house. He doesn't want nothing from you. But then he wants to come spend the night? He wants to talk to Maddie? Cuckoo. Hello? I would have been like, yo, red flag. Why you want to talk to my daughter, bro? What do you mean? What? Why are you spending the night in my house? What are you doing here? Bro, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Do I have to spell this out? What are we doing? Bro, I can't do this, bro. This is ridiculous.
Police also asked Jen directly about her relationship, and here is what she had to say. I asked Jennifer to explain, described as vanilla. Steph, but she said...
Whoa, chat, hold on. Hold on. Whoa, excuse me. We're going to have to bleep that out. We're going to have to edit that out. Whoa, that caught me off guard. Jesus Christ. Sorry, chat. Jesus, whoa. Okay, so I'm going to say something. Hold on. I thank God I wasn't drinking water. Okay. You heard that, right? Guys, you can't take in things from someone who seems guilty. You understand what I'm saying? You guys get my drift? Sorry, hold on. That part, that caught me off. Oh my God. I'm sorry. That caught me off. Okay. She just said that Steph wanted to do the back door, and Jen was like, she didn't want to. Guys, in my mind, I'm going to be like, you know what, Jen? You lied about your statement a lot, right? You're telling me that that's all that he wanted to do? And that's why y'all broke up? No. It sounds like he wanted you to do something else, and you said no. You know what, Jen? To me, in my opinion, it sounds like more than just that you're telling us. Oh, I feel it in my bones, Jen. Who breaks up over booty over booty things? Who, Jen? Jen, come on. No, I don't believe that, Jen. It sounds like he asked you for something else, and you was not having it. That is why you ended it. Come on, let's not be... You ended it over what? The back door? Stop playing with me. Stop it. No. There's something to it. He wanted you to do something else. Something that you are afraid to tell us because it might land you in cuffs. Just my opinion.
She didn't want to. All right, let's talk about these things. Dr. Lieberman, you hear some of these descriptions about, for instance, seemingly not interested in women and wanting to have anal sex. What do these things say to you initially, if anything?
Well, it shows that he has deep psychological problems that began in childhood, obviously, as they do. His mother, the interview with the parents of Stefan is really fascinating because it sheds a lot of light on things. For example, his mother said that Jennifer was a bad influence. She was a bipolar, bisexual drug addict.
Damn! Wait, damn!
So she was blaming Jennifer for all of the problems. But, someone who doesn't want to have sex with an adult woman and wants anal sex, you have to think of a number of things. First of all, I think he had failure to thrive syndrome. He was given Adderall as a little boy, and so presumably he had some kind of ADHD or ADD. And then also he had a car accident where he was run over twice, and he had a head injury. So I think that all of these things caused him to have failure to thrive, and he was really operating at the level of a little boy. Now, you could also add to that wanting to have anal sex. Could he have had some homosexual preferences? I think he really wasn't differentiated. He was failure to thrive. He was still a little boy, and he was expected to be with Jennifer in a male role.
All right, Sharonda Brown, as a child abuse expert, has anything yet spoken to you to say, wait a minute, he may be one that does or will or is abusing children?
Absolutely. It sounds like he has some things going on with him when he was younger. And what we know about most perpetrators is that they were perpetrated on. And usually what they find interesting are the youth that remind them of who they were when they were perpetrated on. So they will go after the age range that they were perpetrated. So for instance, if he was perpetrated at 8, he would perp on someone who's 8 and he'd identify with them. And that's usually what happens with perpetrators. And they have a hard time connecting to adults and having adult adult relationships because their chronological age does not add up to their social emotional age. So women may have been prey because if they had young children, had young daughters, that would have been a purpose as well. So I think that a lot of things stick out here when I'm hearing this case and I'm listening to the interview with the parents. You can tell at some point things happened with him and they overlooked that as well and made excuses because everyone seemed to be the blame but their son.
Everyone seemed to be to blame. All right, ladies, another interesting piece of evidence revealed in the court docs came from Stern's search history. Take a look. Upon reviewing Stefan's Google information, Stefan also searches a drug on 2 different dates, sevoflurane. Sevoflurane is a volatile anesthetic that provides hypnosis, amnesia, echinacea, and autonomic blockage during surgical and procedural interventions. It is unknown why Stefan would be searching this item using the search terms of show up in drug test when he wasn't attempting to get a job or he didn't have any children that were having.
This man Googled more drugs than a Breaking Bad episode. This is insane. On 2 different dates, 12th and 14th. That is literally 11 days before that happened. This is insane. Who's to say that Maddie isn't his only victim? Think about that for a second.
Surgery. All right, Dr. Lieberman, I mean, it is a weird thing to search. And look at the effects of that drug. My understanding is it has to be administered perhaps through an IV. What does this say to you?
Well, you know, it says that, and also his parents said that they were both taking a lot of drugs and sleeping all the time. It seems like he was trying to escape from life, you know, through the drugs and through, you know, obviously abusing a little girl. And I mean, I shouldn't say obviously, allegedly, all right, but it really does. Well, no, it's not allegedly. We have the pictures. But you know what's interesting is we're getting, of course, all of these pieces. We're adding pieces to the puzzle, trying to put it together. But in the end, it really is coming out to be what we suspected from the very beginning, which is that predators on children get together with women who have children, little boys or little girls, because they get into these kinds of relationships so that they can have access to these children. And Jen seems like someone who, you know, did not exactly have a million men trying to become her boyfriend. So she was selling her daughter, basically. I don't mean literally, but she was prostituting her daughter to keep Stefan around.
That's what I think too. And Sharonda, I think the drug he was researching, there's only one reason he was looking that up and Googling is because he wanted something to incapacitate one of his victims.
Correct.
I agree. I think that when you're trying to figure out how to get someone to sleep or how to get someone out of their own body and mind, you definitely want to have a level of control. And it sounds like with her turning 13, she may have decided to fight back. She may have decided that this wasn't going to be something she wanted to do anymore. She probably did start picking up with friends and other people finding interest in her. And usually when people commit crimes, it's usually because they've lost control of some point. So it sounds like the drug would have helped him maintain control on some level. And I'm not sure exactly how he chose to administer, if he did, but I do think that when it gets to that point, it's usually because there's a loss of control and you're trying to confine something. And it's possible that this confinement got out of control and it led to her murder.
Yep, control. Authorities also interviewed one of Stefan Stern's ex-girlfriends, and when asked about their sex life, here's what she had to say. She disclosed that Stefan had a tough time having an erection. She described one very weird occasion where Stefan had her lay face down, completely flat, as if she was dead.
Oh my God. What did I say? What did I say? What did I say? What did I say? Backdoor, Jen? No, Jen. You're lying. You stop having intercourse. You stop having intercourse because he wanted to do you something like this. You And you are not telling anybody because it sounds too close to you knowing something about Maddie. Nah, I said I can't. Oh my gosh, I just said this. I just said this. He has a fetish. No.
And had sexual intercourse with her. She states that it was the only time he was very erect. All right, Carol Lieberman, that's just bizarre to me.
Necrophilia.
Guys, didn't we say necrophilia 3 days ago? Oh my god. Yo, chat. Negla, if you're in the chat, was it Kim or Negla? It was one of them. Kim Black or Negla in the chat. Did it not say, yo.
Sex with a dead body. Well, we know he had a bunch of sexual, oddities. For example, when he was a child, or a teenager, he was caught taking pictures through a window and so on. I mean, the most obvious reason for this would be some kind of a perverted sort of relationship, perhaps an abusive relationship with his mother. But we don't have evidence for that, and I think that's going to be hard to get. But in other words, there are these several different things that point to a very distorted, twisted kind of sexual, growing up with something that distorted his sexuality.
And I think it's okay if it's distorted and you're with consenting adults, but it's a whole different thing when you are allegedly committing these crimes against a child. Thankfully, our guests are staying with us still to come. What did Jen Soto know?
Oh, come on. I just showed you. She basically snitched on herself. You guys didn't have intercourse. Doesn't it sound familiar? Stefan's ex, Jen, share something in common. He couldn't get until he wanted what he wanted. He likes certain things. You put two and two together, what they have in coincidence is that he wanted control. But not only that, the ex is willing to tell the truth because she has nothing involved in this case. But she said that, Jen says that he wanted to do stuff that I didn't like. The back door, SEX, Jen, stop it. It wasn't that. You broke up because of that? Stop it. No. He wanted you to pretend that you were unalive in the bed and he wanted to do all those acts to you. And guys, let's have a mature conversation for a second. I'm going to say something, and I need you to be very mature for a second. This can also explain the noise at 2:30 in the morning. If you know what I'm trying to say. This explains the noise at 2:30 in the morning. Because he didn't do nothing with the body until hours later, 6 or 7 in the morning, because the Angelica was still awake. He needed to come downstairs to make sure everyone was asleep before he moved her. This explains that. Because if he likes these types of things, he needs to take control. That's why you hear all those noise. This time it was different. All the other times nobody heard noise because she wasn't. You get it? But this time, poor little, is, and he is just doing whatever. Do me a favor. We're moving to the next segment. Please hit the like, hit the share button for me. I would appreciate that very much. Guys, hit the follow button. Get involved. Ask questions in the chat. Super chats, again, are going wild. Again, I do have another super chat. It's from... Okay, this super chat didn't pop up, and I'm surprised. It was Janella's 1978. She says the other inmates are going to have fun with him. With him, not them, but yeah. They definitely going to have fun with him. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're right on that. You are right on that. Thank you for that super chat. Janelli? Hope I said that right. We are almost at 300 likes, YouTube. Just 15 more likes. I would appreciate that very much. Okay, let's have respect, though. I see something that I don't like. Let's have respect, though.
This is not normal behavior. She's not the type that would just run off. We don't know where she could be, and we're scared. We just want her home.
We're desperate for any answers, anything that you can do to help. I'm here for it. Just please, if you see my daughter, just please bring her home. I just hope you're okay, Maddie. I hope you're safe. I hope you're not hurt. I just hope she's okay.
That was Jen Soto pleading for Madeline's safe return just one day after she was reported missing. This was prior to the arrest of Stearns, but it does beg the question, did Jen suspect any foul play from her boyfriend? We now know from court documents that the night before Madeline's disappearance, Jen allegedly sent Stearns and Madeline to go sleep in a separate room, a decision the police later questioned her about. Let's take a look. Jennifer said she didn't feel comfortable with Madeline sleeping with Stefan, and it didn't look right to her.
Oh, shut up! Such a lie! A real mother with a woman's intuition will follow that gut instinct. Jennifer said she didn't feel comfortable with Madeline sleeping with Stefan, and it didn't look right to her. Jen, this is proof right here that you're covering yourself. Because that's a lie. Because you've been doing it this whole time. That right there confirms to me, if I was an investigator, I would dig into you. Because that is a lie. This is why I love being a citizen. Because private investigators, if I was one, I could do more than the police are doing. Because that's a lie. I would take that statement and be like, guys, this is proof that she can attempt to lie with her previous statements. And she is. Look at that. You're covering for... Yo, get this out of my... Yo.
I asked Jennifer when she started feeling comfortable with it, and she said she never was comfortable with it.
Stop it.
I challenged Jennifer about telling them to go to sleep together on February 25th of 2024, and
I challenged Jennifer about telling them to go to sleep together. And
she said it was a selfish move because she wanted a good night's sleep.
Yes, it was selfish.
This brings me to the final question of the night, but it is a very important one. What did Jen Soto know? Our guests are still here with us, licensed mental health and nationally certified clinician Sharonda Brown and forensic psychiatrist Dr. Carol Lieberman. Sharonda, first of all, let's start with there are no charges against Jen Soto, and she's not a person of interest as far as we know. But what should she have known? Did she know, to Dr. Lieberman's point earlier, that she was her daughter out?
I think she absolutely knew that. When detectives asked her, I believe her first response was she knew that. And I think that she was aware of that. I think whatever she needed to do to go to sleep so she could avoid it was helping her cope with what she knew was happening. This child was 13 years old. Why else would she need to sleep with a grown man? So I do believe that the mom knew something. I think that to keep someone close to her, to keep a companion there or some kind of affection, she probably was saying, hey, if this is the bargain, you can sleep with my daughter. And that's very common amongst perpetrators and the victims' moms.
And she is not a suspect. We know that, Carol Lieberman, but tell us what you think about some of the details you're hearing of what she told police.
Well, first of all, it is so frustrating and incomprehensible that she is not a suspect. The only thing that I'm hoping is that I mean, she should be like an accessory at the very least. We're
Right.
not saying that she necessarily murdered her daughter, but she certainly is guilty of something, putting her in harm's way, a bunch of charges. So I'm hoping that they are just saying that she's not under suspicion, she's not a person of interest, and we're not.
Ladies and gentlemen, that document that stated that, I'm actually going to put that in the supporters Discord right now. If you are a member on Facebook and YouTube, I'm going to put that document. You need to read this. I am going to put that section of the document right now in the supporters group. If you are a member on YouTube and Facebook, you're going to get this document because you need to read this. You need to read this. You need to read this right now. Not right now, but after the podcast. On Discord, it says you'll see it. If you have a crown on YouTube or Facebook, you'll see it. You are if you don't on Discord, let us know in the Discord, and we'll give you a color, a special color, and you get access to these types of content. So you need to read this because it's not redacted. You see it all raw.
Like waiting for her to do more or say more that will incriminate herself. But you know, she really I mean, some of the things that first of all, it's really interesting to watch her now, to look at those interviews now, because when we first saw them, when this first happened, you had some sympathy for her. And now that all this information has come out and we realize, you know, that she did know so much more and she was okay with it, she was putting her daughter in harm's way, it seems so hollow. You know, all of the sort of tears or whatever, you know, please tell me if you see my daughter. I mean, it's just very chilling to see that this mother really didn't love her or have enough care for her. She at the very least, she was putting Stefan before her daughter. And so, I just hope that they really are ultimately going to charge her with something.
Well, let's add to the mix another little set of facts about something that Jen said, because despite Jen telling police she was uncomfortable with Stearns and Madeline spending time alone together, according to court documents, when asked by her roommate, Angelica, she had a different response entirely. Let's take a look at that response. Angelica said she had a conversation with Jennifer about Stefan and Madeline going into the same room together, and Jennifer would tell her that Stefan would never harm Madeline. So she was okay with it happening. All right, Sharonda, that's a very...
Look at that. Angelica says she had a conversation with Jennifer and Stefan Madeline going into the same room together, and Jennifer would tell her that Stefan would never harm Madeline. So she was okay with it happening. What? What? Are you out of your... That's what she said. Look it. I'm going to give this document. I just sent the document to members. I just sent it to members in the Discord. It's right there. Members, if you want this document also, I'm going to send this to you guys. Read this. Jennifer herself literally just said it. She just said it. She said, oh, I don't have a problem, you know, harming Madeline. If it's okay with it happening. Are you out of your mind? Jen, you need to be charged for at least accessory. You need to. You're not getting involved. Breezy dog with the $9.99. She said, because we have the best chat in moms. And Nove is awesome too. Oh, Breezy. Let me get some W's in the chat. For Breezy, XPZ, Elemental PZ, Doggy Woggy. Let's get it.
Jennifer about Stefan and Madeline going into the same room together, and Jennifer would tell her that Stefan would never harm Madeline. So she was okay with it happening. All right, Sharonda, that's a very different answer. When the police ask, she kind of throws him under the bus, but when her friends ask, oh yeah, it's fine, it's okay.
Well, with your friends, you want to normalize behaviors that you know are not okay. I think when it comes to the police, you don't want to seem guilty of anything. So those are two different goals. Most women don't want to be judged by their friends because their friends will say, hey, that's not okay. They can judge you to a different level in a different capacity. Social shame is totally different from legal shame. And I think that with women, especially when it comes to their men, they will paint the picture that everything is perfect before they tell you the truth about being unhappy or saying, hey, I can't please my man, but but I know someone who can. So whether it's a threesome, whether it's my child, whether it's someone else, I'm going to allow that and say everything's fine.
Dr. Lieberman, are you able to take that one step further? Is it possible, based on your expertise, to say, because the mother did what Sharonda just described so well, because the mother did that and told one story to the police, a different one to friends, she knew what she was doing. There was no unknown in the steps she was taking.
Yes, she did know a lot more than she was trying to give out. People are saying, well, particularly Stefan's mother, but I mean, she, the daughter, first of all, had puberty at 11, went into puberty at 11. And apparently at school, because of her developing, earlier than some of the other girls, she was, which is very interesting because it's not just, I don't think, because of the fact that she was developing sooner, but also there was a sense, I think they had a sense that she was engaged. Don't understand all of this, but unconsciously, they were attracted to her. She was like a more experienced kind of girl. Also, right before she was killed, they were saying that she was showing some signs of bipolar disorder, manic depressive disorder, like her mother had. And so, at least that's how they were interpreting it. But it could well have also been, I mean, maybe that was true, but maybe it was also that this was a reaction to all these years of sexual abuse, that she was getting more aggressive towards her mother and, acting out more irrationally.
All right, and again, Jen is not a suspect at this time, but despite allowing Stearns to stay in her home during her police interview, Jen Soto gave a highly negative description of Stearns. Following this, police allegedly showed Jen images of Stearns' abuse of Madeline. He had many, many, many of those on his phone, and this appeared to have led her to a disturbing realization. Jennifer said that Stefan is a master liar and a master manipulator. Jennifer said once we showed her the photographs, that is when she realized Stefan was guilty. I asked Jennifer if she thought Stefan killed Madeline, and she said, at this point, I do. Do you think, Sharonda, that it was really a sudden realization because she saw pictures? Or do you think, in her gut, mother's instinct, she might have known this man did something bad to my daughter?
I do think that there was a sudden dose of reality once she saw those pictures. People live in denial quite a bit, especially when they have an addictive behavior. And if we're talking about drug use and we're talking about her goal to make her partner happy, that's all she saw. And so once those pictures set in, it was the connection of logic, because usually it's just urge that's involved with addiction. So once those urges were suppressed and so the pictures say, hey, this is reality, it was like, oh my God, there was like this shock of this light bulb that went off. So I do believe that there was a disconnect up until that point. And that's when she was able to come to a sense of like, all right, this is possible. Whether I'm in denial or not, I have to face this.
Yeah, well, following his arrest, Stearns' mother sent him an email that seemed to implicate Jen as a possible accomplice to these alleged crimes. She wrote, we all know, redacted, was heavily involved in this, and I am disgusted that she is free and you are not.
We all know Jen was heavily involved. We know what the redacted is. For professional reasons, you're not supposed to say it. But guys, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a detective. I am a civilian in the United States of America, and I have rights. And I can say this without getting in trouble. And I'm going to say it now. We all know Jennifer was heavily involved in this. And I am disgusted that she is free and you are not. Stearns' mother said this. Now, what did Stearns' mother mean by this? What did she mean by this? Is it something we don't know? Is it something that she could be lying because her poor son is in jail? Oh, you're defending your son? He's in jail. Oh my God. I'm sorry, ma'am, mother, I don't feel bad for Stearns. I'm going to feel bad that we have to waste chemicals to build for him for the DP, if you know what I'm saying. You know how much it is to unalive someone? It costs the state a lot of money, taxpayer money. Okay? That's what I feel bad for. I feel bad for my people paying taxes. I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for your son, Stern's mother. What's her name? Deborah? No, I don't feel bad for your son. No, I don't. You're telling me something about Jen, or she was involved. How about you open your mouth? Because it sounds like you know something. Then open your mouth. Make a statement. You can open your mouth. I don't care about your son. I don't care about Jen. I care about poor Maddie. Even after she is not with us today, I still care about her. At least we owe her proper justice even after death. That's how you honor and respect the dead. Proper justice. That's all we can offer. That's all. It's ridiculous. Shout out to Brown Sugar. This is my new thing that I'm doing now. Whoever sends direct to Venmo and Cash App for the support of Novesity, I show directly on screen. Shout out to Brown Sugar. She said in her message, "For you're gonna hit the big time soon," says Brown Sugar. I appreciate that very much. Thank you so much.
She went on to say that whole family is willing to stay quiet and let you take the fall for everything.
The whole family is willing to stay quiet? Ma'am, you're staying quiet. You're not saying anything, Deborah. The whole family is willing to stay quiet. Stern's mama, you're doing the same thing. I don't trust nobody in this case, okay? I don't. No, I don't. We got Jen contradicting her statements, saying, "Oh, I don't feel comfortable letting my daughter sleep with Stearns," but you did it. And then you tell Angelica something else. Get her out of my face. And then you got Stefan. He's a monster. Stefan's parents supporting this monster. You okay? It's okay. Are they letting you treat him like a monster? I don't care if he's your son. He hurt children. You must be embarrassed because the reflection of your son is how you raised him.
So his mother on his side in the last 10, 15 seconds, Dr. Lieberman, does that surprise you?
No, and all I can say is if they put the parents on the stand, although she's saying that, I think they would not be helpful to his case. Let's put it that way. But yeah, they're saying that he is the front man, that he really loved, felt for, has remorse for Jennifer's, for Madeline's death, and that the mother doesn't. So, that could well be true, that he's taking the fall because he feels guilty for what he did do to Madeline.
Could be.
It's possible.
All right, it's possible, and I apologize. We're out of time. Thank you so much to my guest.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of that segment for the Court TV on the case against Stefan Stearns. We're also with new information of Jennifer Soto. Negla with the 2 super chats. She says, add this $2 to pay for his DP meds. I'm dead. Negla with the 2 super chats. That's funny, Negla. That's good. That's a good one. That's a good one. Hey guys, if you're brand new to the stream, you can hit the subscribe button. Trust me, I talk about true crime almost every day, 5 days a week. We get down, we get dirty. We don't play here. We don't play here. We don't hide nothing. We show the facts. We show documents. We do it all. You like true crime, hit the subscribe button. Let you be one of the numbers up here. Even from Facebook. If you're on Facebook, go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Go. On Facebook, we already established. We have over 100K followers. But in YouTube, I was trying to get the number up there. Join us. Hit the like button. That means a lot to me. Let's talk about this. For Maddie. Somebody wrote this to Madeline Soto. Thank you, Steven, on Facebook with the supporter. I know you say you want to get more badges, but Stars is not active at the moment. So sorry about that. Always. Let's read this together. Always, your hair was like honey, with eyes stormy blue. Gone far too soon, I will always miss you. Your smile was a treasure. Your laughter filled the room. This world is not the same. I will always miss you. I loved you so much. I would have died for you. With no end to my tears, I will always miss you. As I held you in my arms, my heart died with you. Rest in peace, sweetheart. I will always miss you. Who you think who wrote this, ladies and gentlemen? Somebody wrote this to Madeline because after she died, because it has the word was, always, and miss you. So this is past tense. So this had to have been after. But look at this handwriting. Who you think who wrote this? Is Discord by invite only? Nope. You could join the Discord anytime you want. We talk true crime all the time. If you are a member, you get invited into Novesity members inside Discord. If you are a member. Stephen Stern. The mama. Somebody said this letter is creepy as F. Yeah. Yeah. Notice that it says the word as I held you in my arms. As I held you in my arms. I held you in my arms. Robin Jones says Stephen Stearns. Teresa. Sorry. Teresa said the SOB. Money Vincent just joined the Novesity class membership. Enjoy your membership. Enjoy your perks. Welcome to the Novesity Nation. Enjoy your perks and your priority. And join the Discord server as well. You know, Stephen Stearns, Jen Soto, you would have to be really shitty to write something to make it seem like you do miss her. If it was Stephen Stearns. It's really sad. It's really depressing. Ladies and gentlemen, I do have an audio. Yo, I want to show this audio today so bad. The cops pressed Stephen Stern. The cops pressed Stephen Stern in a lie. I have it on audio. I was like, yo, the chat is... I didn't listen to all of it. I heard 10 minutes of it. Like 8 minutes. And I was like, they got him. They got him. And I'm like, you know what? We got to listen to this. So I am going to save... Don't hate me for the next podcast. I'm going to save it for the next podcast. I'm going to save this for the next podcast. Please be here for the next podcast over here in Novesity, where we talk about true crime, streaming by both live on Facebook and YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give this stream, I want everybody in the chat right now to put RIP in the chat for Madeline Soto right now. Everybody. Hit that sub button, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that like button. Yes, I got you in a cliffhanger. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Everybody, put RIP in the chat right now for Madeline Soto. For Madeline Soto. For Madeline Soto. All right. Guys, you guys were absolutely amazing in the chat. Every single one of you. Absolutely amazing. I will continue to defend the young, to defend the old, the new, the poor women and children, the innocent men, all the victims that we talk about on Novesity. I will always. New cases coming to you. New cases coming to you. All right. Thank you guys so much. I have big news to let you guys know. It is coming. It is here. We are just a few days away, ladies and gentlemen. You heard me right. We are a few days away. When I tell you a few days away, a few days away. It's here, ladies and gentlemen. We are a few days already. First come, first serve. It is exclusive and it will be sold out. I am telling you, this brand, oh, sorry about that, Maddie. Sorry. This brand right here represents not only a family, not only true crime, it's more than that. It is a true crime cloth. Coming to you September 2nd. The release on launch of the website. I am only releasing one hat, exclusive, premium hat, and one Novesity shirt. Just one. Merch time after all this time is finally here. I only have 100 shirts. It may seem like a lot to you, but it's not a lot. It will be gone. Get ready. Join the Discord. You know, Lachelle Wilton, will I get my hoodie? I think it was a shirt, Lachelle Wilton. I don't think it was a hoodie. It was a shirt. I'm so proud of you. Oh, thank you so much, Jenny. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate that. All right, guys. Let me get out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Hit the like and sub before you leave. And I wish you could take phone calls tonight. No, not tonight. We're gonna do it the next podcast. I got something to show you guys. I got something to show you guys. Yes, you can join the Discord. The link is right there. All right, guys. Thank you. Like I always say, guys, do good and die great. I'll see you on the next one. Good night, everybody. I love you guys.